Hello, 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 hello. What's up, everybody? It's Marcos Villegas. This is Fight Up TV Live Chat. What up, everyone? Happy Monday. Yeah, Monday. Damn, it's Monday today. Got my little thing in the way of the camera there. Changed up the lighting settings. But what's up, you guys? How's it going? Today is Monday, September 21st, the year 2020, year of our Lord. 6 months into the Rona, and we're still here. Got a lot to talk about, and as always, anything and everything you guys want to talk about, we're going to be talking about, because the live chat. Let me get some straight. This isn't a podcast. This is a live chat where we just shoot the ish and talk about whatever the heck we want to talk about, and whatever you guys bring up during the live chat. So if you guys are tuning in for the first time, welcome. This is the Fight Up TV live chat. We do this every Monday, 5:45. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and share the chat. So a lot of things happened last week that we're going to touch on this week. Rob C, what up? Michael Schofield, what up? Business Kingpin, what's up? Adrian Benavides, what up? What up? What's up, everybody? Let's scroll up here. Whoa, we already got a good amount of comments over here, but yeah, a few things we're going to discuss this in the chat. Obviously, this pay-per-view that's happening this weekend on Showtime for $70. The double trouble, double Charlo, double the Charlo, double the trouble, double the fun. Charlo versus Rosario, and Charlo versus Sergiy Derevyanchenko. Had a chance to interview Sergiy Derevyanchenko. Waleed, what's up, man? If you're new, man, welcome to the chat. We do this every Monday, like I mentioned. Thank you for going in and tuning in with us. Had a chance to speak to Sergiy Derevyanchenko over the weekend. He had a lot of good things to say about this fight, saying that he wants to go for the knockout because that's the only way he feels that he can get a fair shake in the fight, and he's training to get a result to that. When I asked him, what are your advantages over Charlo in this fight, over Jamal Charlo in this fight? He told me, surprisingly, I thought he was going to say like his work rate or his experience, given he had like 400 amateur fights and only lost 20 of them. But Sergiy said footwork is his biggest advantage against Jamal Charlo, which I was surprised, extremely surprised that he would say that. So I'm going to drop the link right now to you guys for that Sergiy Derevyanchenko interview. Boom, right there. Link for Sergiy interview. I also had a chance to talk to Dereck James over the weekend as well. That interview with him about this fight with Jamal Charlo and Rosario is going to drop tomorrow, I believe, at 10:45. I think 10:45 tomorrow in the morning. But he also gave us an update on Errol Spence, how he's looking in his training, saying that he's going to spar pretty soon, actually, and that he hasn't sparred yet since his accident. I'll go ahead and drop that link down here. Wickedy Split. Hey, Wickedy, what up? What up, what up, what up? Here's a link to that Dereck James interview talking about how Errol Spence is going so far. Little Joshy, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's up, dog? So, obviously, we have that fight coming up. Josh Taylor's returning on Saturday as well. He's fighting some Thai guy. Henry Martinez, what's up? Laredo Rosales, what's up? If you guys have like a pressing question that you want an immediate response, or, sometimes I don't get to see your guys' comments because I'm just rambling off. But if you guys have a pressing question, you could always go ahead and use the super chat. Super chat, your question or comment or whatever will pop right on my screen, and we can get right to it. But Josh Taylor's fighting this weekend as well on ESPN. He's fighting some Thai guy. I saw that Thai guy sparring. He's getting worked by a boxer that I know really well. Nick Freese was working the guy, but it's hard to always tell when someone's having a good round in sparring as opposed to seeing the sparring session overall. So whenever you see these sparring clips, guys, you always got to have in the back of your mind, release the whole sparring, because one round can tell a certain picture. Just like in a fight, if you were to give someone a snapshot of a fighter doing well one round in a fight, you've got to see the full picture to see really how it is. And honestly, I not much should be given in sparring, to be honest. Sparring is practice. That's really what it is. Sparring is practice. They're practicing. A lot of times fighters will practice on things that they're not good at, things that they want to improve on, things that they feel that they're weak on. So you can't really put too much into sparring, because I know a lot of people now are like, oh man, what's up, FaZe Nation 4? A lot of people are like, what's oh man, like so and so got wrecked in sparring. Like, look at the sparring, he messed him up. And it's like, dude, if you ever, anybody who's ever played sports, okay, be it in an amateur level, college level, professional level, practice, there's a difference between practice and there's a difference between game time. The mentality changes completely. Okay, I mean, practice, sometimes you're dicking around, you're working on things. Practice is meant to practice. When it's game time, your mentality completely focuses differently. Your intensity rises as well. So it's completely different. But from that sparring video that I was watching, the dude was getting worked. Nick told me that, not told me, but wrote on his thing that the guy has a good chin, good right hand, but he thinks Josh is gonna be too much. And yeah, Nick was working him. This kid is named Nick Fries. He's Thai, but he's also Dutch, and he hasn't been very active lately. He has a really good record, only has one loss. I think he has like 15, 16, 17 wins and all that. So if you guys are interested in that sparring session with the opponent that Josh Taylor is going to fight this weekend, it's on Nick Fries's website. Fries is Frese, Nick Fries. So for life, one deep one. What's up, man? Bringing up a good point. Obviously we're going to touch on this Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather-ish stuff. Oh God, man, got to go through this stuff again with. Here's the one thing that I guess annoys me. Okay, annoys me being in this, that you can't honestly say what you really think about stuff a lot of the time, and you got to play it safe, and you got to play it in the middle, because people get bent out of shape, get their feelings hurt, and they're petty, and they will punish you for the things you say if you're being honest, if it's an honest criticism of something, and yeah, I understand, oh, why are you hating, blah 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 blah. I get that when it's, what's the right word, when it's malicious, when there's no constructivism behind it, okay? But there is a role for criticism. Criticism is, for you, a product, a business, anything being sold to people. Criticism is a way to improve your product. Criticism is a way for you to be aware of maybe some of the stuff you're messing up on, some of the stuff your consumers are not happy about and don't want to see, or don't want to purchase, or don't want implemented on whatever it is that they're using. So with that being said, a lot of the times, a lot of us can't really say what we want to say, or we take a much more subdued take than what we would say maybe behind closed doors, because at times we have gotten pushback from people's, in terms of maybe harder access to get with people, or they send us to go see Jesus up in the stands during a live fight, which I don't agree with, but I just, man. So I was talking to a friend about this last week when I heard, because he actually sent me the link, and he's like, yo, bro, check this out. And I was like, what in the, I'm like, no way, dude. And he's like, no, this guy's usually right. He's some YouTuber. He says he has knowledge of this, that's going to happen. And I'm like, who the heck is this guy? So I went and looked at the guy's thing. He has like 1 million views on this video, which is like, oh, okay, shit. And I've never seen this guy, never heard him, but supposedly, he has a lot of juice in the YouTube community. I start seeing things here and there. And then late last week, I was on a phone call with somebody that's really connected with YouTube, extremely connected. Connected so much that he's friends with LP's manager, like really close friends with Logan Paul's manager. And there's another guy that they're also friends with too. And he told me it's going to happen. And I'm like, no way. How is this going to happen? There's no way. He's like, no, the manager told me it's going to happen. That they just signed the contract, which, whenever I hear this stuff, we hear this all the time in especially in combat sports and in MMA and in boxing. This certain fight's going to happen, contracts are signed, blah, 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 an agreement signed, blah, 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 blah. So you got to, we hear it so much that, you kind of become immune to it. You got to take it with a healthy dose of cynicism with that, because, how many times a certain fight was said that it's going to happen, what up, and it doesn't come to fruition. So, according to what I heard from their side over there, that, the fight's going to happen. It's going to happen in Vegas. Logan has to get approval from the commission. They're looking for November, December for this fight to happen. I was just kind of like, what? Like, how is this going to work? What network is it going to be on? Is it going to be pay-per-view? Like, how is the commission even going to approve Logan? Logan's like an 0-1 fighter. Henry, what's up, man? Thank you for that. Henry Martinez, using the super chat. Like I mentioned, if there's a pressing question that you want answered, go ahead and use that super chat function. We're talking about the Logan Paul thing. I'll get back to the Logan Paul thing right now, because I'm going to answer your question right now, Henry, because that's the benefit of using super chat. You get your question answered right away. Henry Martinez, what's up? Thank you so much. Marcos, can you talk about your thoughts on Canelo suing DAZN and Oscar De La Hoya? Some have always been suspicious on how DAZN makes their money. Suspicious how so? Because DAZN's business model is blah, 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 blah. Can't talk today. DAZN's business model is a subscription-based business model. They need subscribers, paying subscribers, to fund their programming, to fund what they pay their personnel, their boxers. That's the business model, but it's more of an investment at this point, because obviously, based on the subscribers that they have, that's not cutting it for the purses that a lot of these guys are getting. I've done the math before. It's not even close. DAZN is profitable outside of the U.S. DAZN is successful outside of the U.S. They have a lot of major sports leagues on their streaming services outside of the U.S. So, with that being said, a lot of people have canceled DAZN. A lot of people have put DAZN on pause because of the lack of fights. And obviously, no one wants to pay for a service that's not giving them anything. It's completely normal. Marco's fighting another YouTuber, Mad Money, bro. NJP, I wish, bro. If it was offered to me, I'd take it. I'll get into that too. Ask that question again. Henry, so back to your question. So, obviously a lot of people are canceling DAZN, pausing their subscriptions. Now, the case of Canelo suing De La Hoya. So because I read a lot of the summaries on the case. So really what it is Canelo is not happy that he's not fighting. He put in the legal complaint. It got tossed out because of a legal technicality. He didn't name something correctly and a business entity correctly. So obviously he's going to go and fix that and change it. But he's alleging that their DAZN and Golden Boy are stopping him from fighting, and it's cost him money, and that DAZN is not specifying, because they approved the fights, and he said that Canelo says he never agreed to that, to anybody to approve his fights. So that's a lot of what's being fought over. You hear this happening all the time. Floyd separated from Bob Arum, De La Hoya separated from Bob Arum, Mikey separated from Bob Arum. Gee, there's a lot of people separated from Bob Arum. So we'll see what happens with this. Obviously, given what happened with Mikey Garcia, this thing could. Yeah, and I'm not a lawyer. I'm just going by what I've seen in the past. The promoters or the broadcasters I've seen, like Andre Ward, and something not similar, but something in the realm of this happened with him too. Promoters do have ways of freezing out a fighter. So if this drags on in litigation, and there's something happens and it goes again to another trial and all that, we could foreseeably see Canelo out of action for a really long time, to a point where it forces him to settle, or Canelo buys out his contract, which it'd be a lot of money because he's only 2 fights in on that deal. So he's made $60 million out of his $365 million deal. So you would think, he still owes him 8 more fights. That's $300 million on top, marketing and all that. That's a pretty penny to buy himself out of the contract. So I'm not saying Canelo doesn't have hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm sure he does, but is it worth it to him to buy himself out of the contract if that's the only option, and they go that route where they're going to freeze him out to do that? I don't think it'll get to that point, because it's a lose-lose for both parties. It's a lose-lose for Canelo because he can't fight. It's a lose-lose for DAZN because if Canelo doesn't fight, they don't have big-time events for subscribers. And at the end of the day, DAZN wants subscribers. For Golden Boy, if Canelo doesn't fight, they don't make money because Golden Boy makes money off of Canelo's fights. They make $5 million off of each Canelo fight. It's $35 million to Canelo, $5 million to Golden Boy. So it's a lose-lose situation for everybody involved. I think they're going to have to get some sort of arbiter to negotiate something out in there. But at the crux of it was Canelo, Golden Boy. From what I remember, Canelo and Golden, they presented opponents. DAZN said no to all of those opponents because they didn't want to pay Canelo $35 million to fight a Billy Joe Saunders or a Callum Smith or an Anvi Yildirim, which, if you look at it from a business perspective, they have a point. They have a point. If I was the head of DAZN and they presented me Anvi Yildirim, and nothing against Anvi Yildirim, he worked his way up. If I knew that, and I'm like, wait, we have to pay, in our contract, it says we got to pay Canelo $35 million against an Anvi Yildirim? Get out of here. No, that makes no sense. We lose with no gate, no revenue, no fans, no tickets, no booze. No, get out of here. Nah, we're not going to pay that. That would be fiscally irresponsible of me and my business. So, from what was said in the lawsuit, Canelo was willing to take a pay cut. I think like 30%, something like that, which it's a good amount of money. But even then, an opponent like Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith, DAZN, I think, based on my mathematicals, would still end up having to pay Canelo like $25 million, $25 million, which is a lot. That's a pay-per-view payday for a lot of guys. So, even then, it is a fight with a Billy Joe Saunders worth $25 million to a broadcaster that wants as much of exposure as they can get in these big event type fights because they're paying for it. They want to maximize their dollar as much as they can. $25 million for a fight with Saunders, a fight with Callum Smith with no fans, no tickets, none of that. That's still a very, very hard sell. So, I see both sides. At the end of the day, they got to sit down and work something out. And I think, sign a contract. It's a legally binding agreement. maybe not the best decision on DAZN's part to have overpaid, even though maybe Canelo's not overpaid. Maybe he was. It depends on whose perspective you ruminate on. But it's kind of biting them in the butt, because of this happening, and they had to pay a high premium to get into the space. They got to sit down and just hash it all out, And like I said last week, I really, really think that this is a build-up to Canelo versus Oscar. It's the perfect setup for Canelo versus Oscar, dude. Like, story-wise, like, DAZN even said, hey, Oscar is a premium opponent. If you fight him, we'll pay you the $35 million. So, I would not even – I'm telling you, it writes itself. It writes itself. The one thing is Canelo wants the ability to be able to fight off DAZN. If DAZN doesn't approve an opponent, which if I'm like DAZN Golden Boy, I'd be like, no, we paid all this money to retain your services. So, there's a lot of legal work that they're going to go through there as well with that. I saw a comment, somebody saying, not going to lie, Showtime would be a great option for Canelo considering the fights DAZN says is premium. So, if I'm a network and I have a contract with a guy, heck no, I'm not going to let him go to a Showtime or to anywhere. I paid all that money to keep him there for a reason. He's not going anywhere. So that actually might be a way, though, that they do come to agreement that if Canelo wants to fight a defense or a fight that's not as high of a name value, that he has the right to go to Azteca, or Televisa or Fox or Showtime or any other network that's willing to pay. And then when they come with the premium opponents, which I hope is not someone like Masvidal or Khabib, I'm up for the Oscar fight. I like the Oscar fight. I just like, freak show fights too as well. But then they go ahead and grab those fights. So, that's my whole take on it. It's just, Golden Boy's done a lot of good for Canelo. They brought him over here when he was young. They built him up the right way. They invested a lot of money in Canelo, but it goes both ways. Canelo's made them a lot of money as well. And Canelo just wasn't happy. This all started because Oscar guaranteed that Canelo versus Triple G, the third fight, would happen to the DAZN. And he guaranteed that in a don't quote me on this because I don't want to say anything that's incorrect. I read something. You guys feel free to correct me. Read that there was a different agreement between Golden Boy and DAZN promising a Canelo versus Triple G fight, a third one, which is why they paid such a high premium to get Canelo. And Canelo's not down with that. He didn't like that. Even though he said he wasn't willing to fight him, he wasn't down with that. So that's how all it started. Now, Oscar and Canelo be beefing. Canelo not so much has a issue with DAZN, but more of an issue with that little thing that Oscar, I don't want to say Oscar did it, but that little clause in there that, we started getting before the Kovalev fight, reports that Canelo wasn't happy, that he didn't trust De La Hoya, that he said that De La Hoya is not loyal, yada, 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 and all that. So hug it out, guys. A lot of money on the line. And you know what? You know who the ones are suffering over this little squabble? Us, the guys that pay your salary, the guys that buy your pay-per-views and your tickets and your merchandise. We're the ones that are being affected by this. If anything, we should be the ones suing them, for doing this stuff, because ultimately we're the ones that get affected by this. Okay, we're losing a marquee fighter. We're not getting fights. We're not getting one of the biggest stars in boxing for a bit, and that hurts the sport. This turns away potential fans. This even turns away hardcore fans. We're like, man, boxing is just a bunch of BS. I don't even want to watch it anymore. which kind of bleeds in to this Mayweather Logan Paul thing. So back to that. When I got the text from my friend, I said, and I kind of reflecting on it, I was really surprised, but it just kind of sucks because it's the truth. I told him, bro, boxing sucks. Boxing sucks right now. Look at this. Look at what MMA is doing. MMA, we're getting Masvidal, Usman, Colby, Tyron that just happened over the weekend, even though that fight sucked. It was such a boring fight. Oh, my goodness. Last weekend's fights it's just a big L on all fronts. They're just very, very boring. I'm a hardcore boxing guy. I had to stop. I couldn't anymore. It wouldn't keep my attention span. I had to tune out. No lie. But I'm like, dude, man, boxing, we got Logan Paul, KSI. It ended up being a good fight, but still, it still waters down the sport. It doesn't make it look seriously. We got Jake Paul against Gibb, which that Gibb kid, you could tell he was going to get his ass kicked. He had no business being in a boxing ring. At least Jake takes it seriously and he trains. But we're seeing all these fights now and then, Floyd and Logan Paul. It's like, dude, man, boxing sucks right now. We're not getting any cool fights other than this one happening this weekend. Tank, Spence, in the Spence fight. But it's just like, dude, when stuff like this happens, it's just like, man. And then the other BS, just all compiled with Canelo not fighting. Now we're seeing, I don't know, I think it's really a PR stunt with Ryan Garcia and Jake Paul. I don't think anything is gonna happen out of that. But yeah, man, they're doing it because they know they can make money, obviously, and more power to anybody that is willing to make money. Because okay, let's be real, guys. Let's be really, really honest. If they came to me and said, "Hey, Marcos, do you want to fight Logan Paul? We'll offer you $500,000. Think I'm gonna say no to that? Get out of here. Hey Marcos, will you fight Jake Paul? We'll offer you $500,000. Yeah, I'm gonna take it. I don't care. Buy me a house. Buy my mom a house. I'm gonna take that. Because those types of monetary opportunities are not open to me. I'm gonna take it. So with Logan Paul and Mayweather, they go to Logan and say, hey, Logan, do you want to fight Floyd Mayweather in an exhibition? You're going to make like $1 million. You think he's going to say no? Get out of here. You think Floyd is going to say no when they're like, hey, Floyd, we have this thing with Logan Paul. Probably going to make like, good like 5-10 million, if not more. It's just an exhibition. You think he's going to pass it up? Who's going to pass up an easy mill, an easy few mills? No one with common sense is going to pass it up. So you can't blame the guys, but what is happening is because of this, that Logan Paul KSI fight opened up the floodgates. It opened up Pandora's box because people know that there's money to be made from these types of fights. And these fights aren't going to stop. People, as long as people are willing to pay and there's interest, and there's traffic and views being generated from content revolving around these events, they're going to keep happening, guys. They see, hey, this fight sold so much tickets or views or whatever, and they're going to keep doing it. So it's like, door's been open. There's no putting it back. There's no putting the genie back in the bottle. Like, we're going to keep getting these things unless people stop viewing and people stop buying. Obviously us as consumers have every right to not purchase something or boycott something that we don't want to see or consume. So, the only way these fights, if you're like a true boxing aficionado, boxing hardcore, and it hurts you, you hate to see something like this, don't watch it. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. You got to get a collective group of people and not to watch it. Obviously it's our job to cover the sport. So, we have to watch it. We have to cover it because I feel like we have a responsibility to you guys to bring you coverage of the sport. You know, regardless if we agree if it's a good fight or a crappy fight or crazy fight, a circus, it doesn't matter. Our jobs is to cover the sport for boxing fans and to not let my personal bias stop us from covering the sport, or at least putting it in a way where, because I don't like the fight, we're not going to cover something. No, we cover fights regardless of what it is. So with that kind of summarizes my general thoughts of everything. Let's go ahead and get to some of these questions here. Sajid Mahmood thinks that Kovalev took a dive. Dude, get out of here. This guy is crazy, bro. Sajid, are you serious? Sajid Mahmood. Kovalev took a dive? Do you see how bad he got knocked out? You kidding me, bro? That was a freaking megaton bomb on his chin. You see the way he went out? That wasn't a dive, dude. Canelo knocked him out, bro. What are you talking about? Took a dive. Get out of here with that. Canelo put a beating on that boy. Come on. Can't take a dive like that. Who wants to take a dive like that? Who wants to get knocked out like that? You kidding me? Nobody wants to get knocked out like that. That has a chance of giving Kovalev brain damage. Come on, man. You think you want your family members to see you get knocked out like that? Knocked out cold? Come on, bro. Give some credit to Canelo. All right? Put some respect on Canelo's name. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Oh, he's a great actor. No mames, Hector. Get out of here con tus mamadas, güey. Great actor. Yeah, okay, good. Give that dude an Oscar then. He's that great of an actor. He should be an actor then. He shouldn't be fighting. He should be acting. That was the greatest performance I've seen in the last 10 years from somebody then, if that was a dive, bros. Okay? If that was a dive. Okay. Ellie Caves. Oscar versus Bernard was a dive. Otro güey con sus chingaderas. Okay. That was not a dive, bro. You've ever been hit in the liver? For reals. Have you ever... Do me a big favor, okay? Go and ask your brother or your sister to hit you in the liver. Just a good shot. Not a hard shot. A good shot to the liver. A good solid shot. Let us know how you feel. Okay? Let us know. You know what? Do us a favor. Record it. Record it so we can all see your reaction. And you tell me now how that feels. And then tell me how it would feel when you get from a guy who's a naturally bigger man than you, where you've moved up a division, you're a blown-up middleweight, because that's what Oscar was a blown-up middleweight when he fought Bernard, okay? Bernard's naturally bigger. And he hits him perfectly executed with that liver shot. The liver shots short-circuit you as a person. Your mind's there, but your body's not listening. And you're just like, what the heck's going on? Like, why can't I move? It's like when your limb falls asleep and you're looking at your limb and you're like, wake up. Like, and it's not waking up and you can't do anything. That's what it looks like. So, Oscar getting knocked out, but Bernard, not a dive. Get out of here. Get out of here. Come on, bro. Come on. Get out of here. Hector, I was joking. Yeah, okay. Good. You better be joking, bro, because come on, man. Come on. NJMP, secure the bag, bro. Train, post videos, start calling. Nah, dude. Because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because, I'm going to turn 37 on Saturday. I've been training like how I see these guys train, and it sucks, man. I'm like completely exhausted. Like I don't recover the way I used to when I was in my 20s training like this. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. The Soul Collector. Liver shots are the worst. I agree. They suck. No disrespect, but I think Oscar needs to chill out or chill out. Be a little bit more specific on that, bro. I don't know. Marcos, do you think Ali's fights with Liston were dives? That's an interesting question because based on all right, so, the phantom punch, in the second fight, people always say that was a dive that the mob was in on the second Ali Liston fight, and that he threw the fight. There's a really good documentary on Sonny Liston that Showtime, I believe Showtime did. And lately, Showtime has been doing some, not lately, but over the course of the last 3-4 years, they put together some great, yes, I do, some great documentaries in terms of boxing. And one of them is one on Sonny Liston. Based on that documentary and what historians have put out there, he was tied to that world. Not saying that he was directly involved or not, but he was certainly tied to that world. They did ask him, I believe, to throw a fight later on in his career, and he ended up beating the crap out of the guy. I forget who it was, and they were mad at him. And they feel that his death was fairly suspicious. Sonny Liston, it was labeled as a overdose from heroin, I believe. A lot of people feel someone came in and shot him up with heroin and then left, and there he was, just dead. So I don't think it was a dive. I've seen the tape of the punch, and you could to me, I could clearly see. And here's the thing: it's old footage, it's grainy footage, it's black and white, okay? But it was a fast punch that hit Liston. Just a quick pop. I've seen that punch land on so many fighters before. To know, like my eye is trained. You could see it's just a quick punch. It's a reaction punch from Ali. Landed right on the chin of Liston. Ishida versus Kirkland. Look that fight up. Because Ishida basically hit Kirkland with a same speed type of punch. Just a quick punch. And Ishida, I think I'm saying his name right. Ishida wasn't a big puncher. He just hit Kirkland in the right spot, put him out. Same thing with Ali. Hit the guy in the right spot. It was quick, put him out. I don't think it was a phantom punch. I think a lot of the confusion is they can't believe a guy of the name, the stature, feared, devastating puncher, murderous puncher like Sonny Liston could go out to a punch like that, a punch that seemed like it was nothing. We now know that speed is power. Look at Manny Pacquiao. Look at all these other guys. Einstein's equation states that too. The faster an object goes, its mass plus the force of its weight doubles exponentially. E equals mc squared, something like that. Went to college. So we know that this doesn't matter how hard you throw the punch, the speed of the punch and the position of the punch. So I don't think he took a dive. I could clearly tell that was a punch that clearly hit him on the chin. But that documentary is a very good documentary. If you guys want to check it out, I'm going to look it up right now for you guys. It is I'll put it up in Liston doc Showtime, because it's on Showtime. I recommend you guys all watch it. It's a really, really good documentary. And it sucks what Liston's life ended up being after all that, and how he ended up the way that he did. Come on. Okay, here we go. Showtime doc. It is called Pariah: The Lives and Deaths of Sonny Liston. Check that out, guys. If you're a boxing fan, check it out. It's a great watch. Pariah: The Lives and Deaths of Showtime. Everybody who's tuning in for the first time here, this is Fight Up TV live chat. Thank you, guys. Please subscribe to the channel. We update you on everything boxing just about every single day with exclusive interviews and videos. So if you haven't heard of us in the boxing scene, we're your stop, man. We're your stop here for content. We've got a lot of stuff coming your way this week for this Charlo doubleheader pay-per-view that's happening on Saturday. And follow us on social media at Fight Up TV and at Hey It's Marcos V for my personal. So let's get back to some of the chatty chat questions. Marcos, easy work. I've never heard of that. I don't know who that is. So yeah, Sajid. Okay, Sajid, bro. Did you answer our question, Sajid? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pick on you, Sajid, but come on, bro. You didn't take a dive. Like you see that punch coming at him? That was straight to the chin, dude. He that was like a devastating punch that he landed on him. You know. All right. And just like Matthew McConaughey. Julio Guzman, what's up, bro? Hello. Marcos, who you got? The Charlo fight. Okay, that's good. Check IBFP Nuke on YouTube, Marcos. Tell me your thoughts next week. What is that though? What kind of channel is that? I've never even heard of that. Micah Salberg also asked, do you have both Charlo brothers winning? Trent Gill, what up? Mayo B, Jid, thanks, bro. Thanks for that. So the Charlo fight this weekend, who do I got? So I have a friend that he's really good with breaking down fights. Sometimes, what's up, little Joshi? Sometimes he gets it right. Sometimes he's way wrong. Talked to him 2 weeks ago. I asked him, yo, who's gonna win these Charlo fights? I like talking to the guy. He cracks me up. He's hilarious, and he tells me, I think little Charlo is gonna get beat by Rosario, and big Charlo is gonna knock out Derevyanchenko. And I was like, really? You think that? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, why? And he's like, Banana hits hard and he's all over you. And Jermell Charlo's never had a guy be all over him like that. I think it's really going to affect him. And Rosario hits harder than Charlo. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, what about the main event? You don't think Derevyanchenko is going to beat Charlo? Like, why do you think Jermall's going to win? And he's like, look, dude's been knocked down with Jacobs. Dude's been knocked down with Golovkin. This Charlo's going to put him on his butt and knock him out and keep him there. His chin's not there. He gets hurt. He gets touched. The big Charlo's just too much momentum going for him right now. And I'm like, interesting. And I'm like, could be the other way around, though, no? I'm like, little Charlo could end up knocking out and Jermell Charlo, because I heard that he doesn't like being called that, so I don't want to get in trouble. Jermell. Like Jermell Charlo can end up knocking out Rosario, because Rosario swings for the fences, is really wide. He's there to be countered. Though I got to give it to him, his timing is impeccable. That dude has some great timing, especially in the J-Rock fight. He knows when to throw, and he's gotten a lot better with that, because I've been seeing Rosario since he was on FS1, because I've scored a lot of his fights for the telecast on the FS1 cards over the years. And he's gone from someone who was really raw, just a big brawling puncher, to someone now that is getting more and more complete and better with each fight. This J-Rock fight, he made improvements, leaps and bounds in that fight. He threw his punches well. He placed his punches well. He was throwing them at the right times. And when this dude gets you hurt, he puts you out. That's the one thing that's been consistent with Rosario over his past fights, has been that. But he leaves himself crazy open to get countered. Crazy open, because he's swinging with everything in every punch, and he's overcommitting with every punch. That's a big disadvantage that he has in the fight. So I told him, well, I could see Jermell knocking out Rosario. And he's like, and in the main event, I'm like, I could see, I'm not saying he's going to do it. I'm saying, because I don't know. I honestly don't know. I could see Derevyanchenko winning. And he's like, why? And I'm like, okay, look at the Jacobs fight. Look at the Golovkin fight. Okay. Split decision on the Jacobs fight. Loses the Golovkin fight because of the knockdown pretty much, but a lot of people think that he beat Golovkin in that fight. I was there live for the Golovkin fight. You guys are going to give me so much crap about this, but I had Gennady winning by a point because of the knockdown. I had it 6-6 plus 1 Golovkin because of the knockdown, so it was like 114, 113 for Triple G. But I could see how people thought Derevyanchenko won the fight. Same when Golovkin fought Daniel Jacobs. I had Golovkin winning there live because of the knockdown by 1 point. But if you take the knockdown away, I had that a draw, and I had the Derevyanchenko fight a draw. So I said, look at those fights. I'm like, Charlo's on the same level of those guys. But in a fight between Golovkin and Charlo, who would you favor? Golovkin. In a fight between Charlo and Jacobs, who would you favor? Maybe Charlo, maybe Jacobs, 50-50. I'm like, look at how he's done with similar, if not a little bit better competition. He's almost beaten him. By many accounts, people think he's beaten him. By many accounts, Derevyanchenko should be undefeated. Why has he done so well in those fights? His volume. Dude throws a lot of punches, and he's awkward, and he comes forward. The fight that Jamal had against Korobov, it's a difficult fight for him. A lot of people felt that the result should have been flip-flopped, that Jamal should have been given the decision against Harrison, and Korobov should have been given the decision against Jamal, but it got flip-flopped. So I'm like, okay, Jamal doesn't throw a lot. Derevyanchenko, high-volume puncher, comes forward, throws a lot, just throws. That might make it very, very close. Extremely close for the judges. He's had those types of fights before, given his track record. All he got to do is just avoid not getting touched, not getting knocked down. But Jamal got crazy power, So I don't know. Can I see him not getting knocked down? I don't know. Because he gets touched, especially early on. I think the Jacobs fight, he got dropped in the first, and then Golovkin fight, he got dropped early on like third or fourth, something like that. So, right here, Simon Minwa or Minwinya, Ma Wolchinchenko, Sage 421. It's a tough call, Marcos. Yeah, it is. It is a tough call because I can see Derevyanchenko winning. And I told him in the interview that I did with him, I'm like, dude, I can see you winning. And I can see you doing this way. You outwork him, you come forward, and you're defensively responsible, really, really tight guard, and you work the body. You work the body the way you did against Golovkin, little by little. By rounds 10, 11, 12, your output will be so much more that the judges will be like, whoa, look at all this work. All you got to do is just not get knocked down. If you fight like the way you did with Golovkin, you have a good shot of winning the fight. And he's like, I agree with you. I agree with you. And I'm like, go ahead and try to do that. So, it's tough. But the one thing that cannot happen to Sergiy in this fight is he can't go down from a knockdown. And that chin is suspicious to me because Jacobs has knocked him down, Golovkin has knocked him down, and Jermel's on the same level power-wise as those two guys. So that's how I see the fights happening this weekend. Nosy Rosie, I see an eyeball and then two little Merlins. What does that mean? What does that mean? Iasoron? What is that? What is that supposed to mean? Now I'm perplexed. Nosy Rosie. Tell us what that means. Tell us what that means. Come on. I'm waiting for the response here. Waiting for the response. If Maul knocks him down, he won't let him off the hook. Very true. If Maul knocks him down, we can end up seeing a finish. I totally agree. Chenko can't leave it to the judges. He'll have to get the KO. That's what he told us. That's what he told us in the interview. I'll put the link back on there. He said, hey, I got to go for the knockout, or at least I got to start out strong in the beginning. And I'm like, yeah, and not get knocked down. Charlo smokes Triple G. That's why he ducked him. I don't think a guy like Gennady Golovkin or anybody at that level is really ducking any fighter, to be honest. You have a guy here that had like close to 22 title defenses, fought Canelo, and a Canelo versus Charlo fight, Canelo would be the favorite. A Golovkin versus Charlo fight, I don't know. It might be, even odds, but I don't, I think any fighter at that level, when they've had so many fights, and Golovkin's had hundreds of amateur fights, I don't think they're afraid to fight any fighter, to be honest. It really, what it comes down to is money. That's really what it is. It comes down to money. They're not happy with the amount of money they're being offered. And really, no. That it does come down to money. But here's the other thing. What it really comes down to is politics. in the business of boxing, where one person does not want to do business with another person, and that's detrimental to the sport. At the end of the day, what are you doing? You're messing up the sport. That's what's happening, pretty much. You're messing up the sport. So we're not seeing fights like this, but we're seeing fights like Mayweather, Logan Paul, KSI, Jake Paul, Anson Gibb, the Mountain versus that other. I don't know what's happening. They're fighting. Do you guys know that they're fighting? So yeah, that's really what it is. Politics is that's the thing I never understood, and I learned this very, very early on in college and business school. That if it makes money, it makes sense, and to put personal beefs aside, because at the end of the day, you both have something to gain from a business venture, and don't let your pride get in the way of you making money or making a good deal that's going to benefit you. Because at the end of the day, it's going to benefit you. It's in the benefit of all promoters to work together, because you guys are all going to make money, because we all want to see these fights. So why is that's what I don't understand. You make these fights, you're going to make money, tons of money, because people want to see these fights. No need to marinate. Yeah, I get it. Build up a little fight because you're building up a guy's name recognition, name value. That I get. But to marinate a fight for 7 years, no, you don't need that. To make a fight happen, you're going to make money. You make Spence versus Crawford, you're going to make a lot of money. There's no need to marinate that. Everybody wins. Start working together, because it's for the better of the sport, and everybody wins. You're going to make a ton of money if you work with the other promoters. Yeah, I understand you're already making a good amount of money. Oh, things are good now. We're already making a good amount of money. You're going to make even more money. At the end of the day, you guys like money. You're going to make even more money. So come on, boots to asses. Let's make these fights. You know why it's hard, Micah? A lot of ego involved. That's why. A lot of ego involved. A lot of ego involved. That's why. That's why it's like that. Listen, the worst fight that never got made when it should have was Joshua versus Wilder. Imagine the money they would have generated. I still say that fight still happens, to be honest. I still think that fight still happens, to be honest. Will it have the same allure as before? No, because Joshua's been knocked out. Wilder's been knocked out. But I would still pay, because I know someone's going to knock the F out in that fight. It's still a great fight. It's still a great fight. And here's the other thing, man. I think people, and I've said this before, I honestly really do mean this. I'm not just saying it to pander or, to ass lick, or anything. I really, really think people are writing off Deontay Wilder too early. I really, really think they're just because of one loss. I really think so. The guy still has the ability to put anybody out on any given night with one punch. So I think it's very hasty, not hasty, but very, it's people writing him off that he's done, that he's mentally done. No, I don't think so, man. You match him against Povetkin, Dillian White, Chisora, Joseph Parker, all those guys, Fury again, Joshua. He's a live dog in every single one of those fights. In a majority of those fights, he would be the favorite. And he can end those fights at any moment. At any moment, he can. That's why there's so much allure about this Mike Tyson stuff happening. And a lot of people are saying, if Mike looks good in this exhibition with Roy Jones Jr., if he continues training, maybe he could beat some of these heavyweights. Got a secret for you guys. Over the weekend, we interviewed Roy Jones Jr. He's pissed. He was pissed because he had just finished sparring. And I asked Roy, and this interview is going to come out this week. I asked Roy, can Mike Tyson become heavyweight champion of the world again? And he told me, yes, he can. Because it's Mike Tyson. If he looks good, He's taking care of his body, been training right. There's still enough left of Tyson, still enough left power-wise that anybody you put him in, doesn't matter. Anybody you put him in, if he connects, there's a big possibility they could put him down. And he said, especially Joshua and Wilder. And I was just kind of like, ooh. Joshua I could see, because of the chin problems. Wilder, I don't know. Mike's always had trouble with the taller, rangier guys, but I'll put that interview up. We're coming to 55 minutes in here. Someone knocked over here in my complex. I don't know what the heck that was about. But let's go ahead and get some more questions here. Marcos, I'm curious. Do you know Showbiz, the adult? You two are my favorite YouTubers. No, I've never heard of him. What does he do, bro? 92 AKU. I'm a Wilder fan till this day. Where we go one, we go all. Marcos, what's up, bro? How's it going? Abe, what are you talking about? Wilder has a great jab. Abe, what are you talking about, dude? Wilder's jab is almost like a power punch. That's the one thing he does do well is his jab. He has a great jab. What are you talking about, bro? Easy work. World Combat Sports Fury is the better boxer. Hector, oh, no, don't say that. Hell no, you tripping. Nah, you tripping, Abe. You tripping. He has a very sharp jab. It's like a power punch, bro. What are you talking about? You gotta go look over at his training footage. See, I look at this training footage because I gotta edit a lot of it, over and over and over and over again. And so I could see the improvements and the differences. He has a very, very good jab. Jesus Gauchin, something about burritos gorditas. What's up, bro? Someone's pulling for Logan Paul for the upsets. You guys are funny. Rajas con queso, that's what I'm talking about. 92 AKU doesn't believe that he has a great jab either. Showbiz a real one. He ducked the goofy glove gate situation and the Kovalev taking a dive. Idiots. I recommend his channel, Marco. Showbiz a real one. Okay, I'm going to look him up. You guys say he's good, I'm going to look him up then. I'm going to look him up. Okay. World Combat Sports and easy work and into it. Little Joshy thinks I smoke dabs. Micah says he's a good dude. All right, I'm going to check him out, guys. I'm going to check him out. All right. Wilder Fury, your thoughts on that one, Marcos? Man. He debunked, not ducked. Okay. Yeah, I didn't really believe all that stuff either. The one thing that sticks out with the third fight is that Fury's been in the gym training, been working. Sugar Hill's over there in England right now with him, so he's been staying sharp. That's a big advantage, I think, in a fight, like, especially for heavyweights. We haven't seen much from Wilder. We haven't heard much from Wilder. We don't know if he's been training or if he's been maintaining his condition. So, that's obviously could be an advantage for Fury. The mental condition coming into the fight, knowing that this guy, knocked him out and was pretty dominant in the second fight, that sometimes has a mental edge on people, or that stays in their mind. But worked both ways. Wilder put Fury down twice in that first fight. So, but obviously, when it comes to look at Tyson when Tyson unraveled when he got knocked out. Or Fernando Vargas unraveled. When you bully the bully, they historically, and I'm not saying this is the case for Wilder. Historically, they've unraveled mentally. Like you've gotten the key to the door and you've opened it, and once that door is open, you can't close it. It's the winning way, and it kind of takes away from their spirit and their aura of invincibility, like that unshakable resolve that they have in themselves as this monster that can't be touched. No one could touch them. They're just a destroyer. They walk through everything, rampaging anything in their path. It's cracked. It's taken away to a point. You start questioning yourself. The moment you question yourself in anything, that's troubling, especially as a fighter who's fighting in the ring. Like I mentioned, I'm not saying that this is the case for Wilder. I'm saying historically we've seen that with huge punchers in the sport. So Paul Newman, though. Paul Newman with the MVP question. Paul Newman is my dude. The burning question for everybody. Did you guys snag yourselves a PS5? Are you guys are happy with that $499 price tag? I myself did not get a PS5 pre-order in. I'm gonna wait a little bit. Probably gonna end up getting it at the store or something like that, or online. For Life One Deep One says, yeah, you did. You got a PS5 order? They went like you couldn't even log in. Like it happened like in the middle of the night over here that you couldn't do it. Where do you live, dude? Or you stayed up? But what's up with that $499 price tag? You guys cool with that or what? I don't know if I'm cool with it. PS4 was $399. PS2 I think was $499. I have every single PlayStation console, so I'm not going to stop now. I like Sony. I'm probably going to get it. And the Xbox they're virtually identical, the guts of the system. Xbox is a little bit more. I saw like the GPU is a little bit more, and the storage is a little bit more. But other than that, it's the same system pretty much. So it comes back to what do you prefer, and your gaming experience. Do you prefer going online PSN or Xbox Live? I've always been a Sony guy. I've always. Jesus, will I watch the Raiders tonight? No, I don't feel like crying. Not a Raider fan. Come on, video games are for nerds. I respect books, Marcos. Come on. I haven't pre-ordered a PS5, but my brother did. Oh, okay, all right. All right, guys. Do you believe Usyk can be a great heavyweight? That's a good question. Usyk has already proven that he's a great cruiserweight by unifying the division. Can he be a great heavyweight? It's difficult to know, really. And really, I think the question regarding Usyk is not if he's good enough. The question is if his advantages that he had at cruiserweight will translate well to bigger men that could handle his punch. The fight that he had against, I believe, Witherspoon in Chicago, he didn't look that great. He got the win, but he didn't look that great. So that's really the question: is he's a cruiserweight that's going up to heavyweight. Will he have that heavyweight power to be able to put people away, or at least keep people off of him the way he did at cruiserweight? That remains to be seen. We still got to find out. EA should cancel UFC and bring us a new fight night for the PS5. I agree. All right, guys, this is it. I got to go to the gym and work out. I don't want to be fat. So thank you so much for tuning in to the live chat. Tune in next Monday, 5:45, where we're going to talk about and recap the Charlo fight. I'm stoked. Finally, some good fights. Not stoked about the $70, but, my job. I got to pay for it. So thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. Please share the stream. Next week, share the stream as well so we can get more people on here as well. Keep this going. Keep this growing. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to already. And let your other friends know that support boxing, that like boxing, that watch boxing, and support the channel as we continue our road to 1 million subscribers here on Fight Hub. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you all tuning in here tonight. Follow us on social media at Fight Hub TV, at Hey, it's Marcos V. For me, myself, maybe I'll end up giving you a shirt. You guys go ahead and do that. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week, man. Make it productive. Stay positive. Go outside, run, go do push-ups, something. You guys got to keep your minds occupied. What's the saying? An idle mind is the devil's workshop. Do a lot of weird stuff when you're bored. A lot of unconstructive stuff when you're bored. So don't use your time wisely. Be productive. If you're starting to have negative thoughts, you're going crazy, go outside, take a walk. We got to see nature, man. Honestly, we can't just be stuck inside four walls this whole time. Even if you work from home, you got to get out. Like us as people, as humans, the way we're wired, we came from the earth. We came not from living in dwellings like what we live in currently, but from living out in nature, man. So it does something to our chemistry when we're out in nature, outside. So you guys got to go outside. Put on your mask. Yeah, it sucks. We have to wear masks. It sucks, but that's what we got to do. Okay. But you get outside, because you'll be surprised how and what it does for your mental health. If you go outside for an hour, just for a walk, for a jog, whatever it is, just go outside. So I'll leave you guys with that, because I've seen the tremendous difference of me staying in a whole day, not going outside, and then me working and then going outside. If I'm working the whole day, I don't go outside. I veg out on the couch, either watching YouTube or TV. I'm like mentally exhausted. It's weird. I can't explain it. I feel like I'm in a mental fatigue where I'm just like, ugh. I feel that same way. I go outside, mentally I'm sharp again. It makes a big difference. So you guys got to go ahead and get out and do all that. All right, guys. I think I left you with some good knowledge there. All right, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good night. We'll see you next week, Monday at 5:45 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you, guys. Take it easy.